KRZE, crazy listener-supported radio news at noon. Animal control officers are searching for a coyote in the area that has been masquerading as a dog. The unidentified suspect has been seen walking the street in broad daylight with his tongue out and wagging his tail. He is described as being the approximate size of a border collie and appears to be even more intelligent, but he does not catch frisbees or fetch. According to Officer Jim Locke, coyote populations are immigrating an all-time high, and modern coyotes have been colonizing in cities like Los Angeles, Atlanta, Cleveland, San Francisco, and it is well established that Washington, D.C. has had a long-time urban coyote problem. Even though coyotes are marginalized, they are highly adaptable and will eat just about anything, including rodents, rabbits, livestock, fish, and household pets. Coyotes communicate by singing a primitive song that is apparently more complex than it seems. Authorities have no strategies on stopping their messages. So the coyotes usually gather in packs and hunt, but the unidentified suspect is unique in that he has a preference for traveling alone, but should still be considered dangerous. Some domestic dogs are starting to form alliances with the coyotes. Please, see something, say something. Presently, this coyote is being sought as a subject of interest only. Coyote incidents from the weekly police log. Officers were called at 8:27 a.m. July 7 by a building owner reporting that a transient female coyote was on the Water Street property after being banned and chased away the previous week by law enforcement. The female coyote had been openly copulating with dogs in the parking lot in front of the daycare center as parents were dropping off their children. After their arrival, officers did not locate the female coyote in the area. Officers were called at 10:05 p.m. July 7th by the Sims Street Deli and Winery, following a report that there was a transient female coyote inside the business, knocking wine bottles off the shelves and devouring French bread and deli meats. The female coyote had left the business by the time the officers arrived. The business has had previous issues with coyote behavior and has asked that a trespass admonishment be issued to protect Sims Street businesses. Officers were dispatched at 9:38 p.m. July 9th to a possible domestic assault between two sister coyotes on Grant Street. When officers arrived, they found the sisters acting aggressively towards each other, snarling, spitting, and the hair standing on the back of their necks. But it was determined by the officers that there had been no assault. So the officers stood by while one sister coyote gathered her bologna and French bread and trotted off into the forest. Apparently to wait for someone coming to pick her up. Both coyotes have been warned about possible deportation from Fort Gordon State Park. The small town daily metro section. Police fatality. Black lab mistaken for coyote. Police. Another fatal shooting of a black lab Tuesday night, September 2nd, by police officers who had mistaken the congenial family pet for the male coyote being sought as a subject of interest. Police officers were responding to an anonymous tip concerning a suspicious animal that was riding a local champion female border collie on Lawrence Street and urinating in multiple public locations. The animal was engaged in this latter activity when the police officers arrived. Animal Control Officer Jim Locke, who also responded to the call, stated the animal didn't really give the officers a choice. When they pulled up with their flashing red lights and blue lights and the siren on, the dog tried the bolt. I understand that he was 17 years old, quite elderly, so it was a slow run. There have been 5 fatal domestic dog shootings so far this year, as compared to 2 in the previous year. This incident is an unfortunate tragedy, stated police spokesperson Sandy Shaw. Command to stop running and to stop urinating and fearing for the safety of their fellow officers and for the safety of the community, the officers then employed deadly force. The dog, identified as Buster, was struck 17 times. All 6 officers at the scene discharged their weapons, and they all have been placed on paid administrative leave. KSIN-TV, the pulse of the community. In the wake of the small-town police shooting of Buster, who was the victim of mistaken identity and was initially thought to have been a coyote suspect, research reveals that of the 5 fatal police shootings of domestic dogs this year, 4 of the victims, including Buster, have been black labs. The fifth victim was a chocolate lab. The domestic dog owners are nearly 60% of the small town population. This is a place that has an annual dog parade, where there are dog bowls of water in the local bars, where people drive with their beloved pets sitting safely in their laps. Domestic dogs have become a part of the fabric of this community, and this incident has created tensions between the police and some of the town's citizens. Black lab owners have organized several protests and are demanding to know why their domestic big dogs are targeted and shot. Joan Malone spoke about her service animal. In 17 years, Buster never harmed anyone. And it is very hard for me to believe that he was cavorting like they say, being that he was so old. It seems like to me that the officers disdained the use of less lethal methods like tasers or sedatives or dog treats and belly rubs. According to a credible source who wishes to remain anonymous, not all of small-town domestic dog owners agree with the protests, especially owners of the golden members of the breed. Tiring of the negative attention and the increased scrutiny of domestic big dogs in general as a result of the protests by black lab activists, the golden lab owners have created their own organization, All Labs Matter. Their feeling is that black lab owners need to train their dogs better. That they should, and they state that there are several very good and affordable private schools in the area where this can be done. Any dog that doesn't sit or roll over when told dies. Police spokesperson Sandy Shaw on Department News Director concerning domestic big dogs and the expanding threat of coyote immigration and terrorism. Domestic big dogs had the ability to warn off coyote attacks and now appear to have formed a cooperative and difficult coexistence with the coyote colony, which continues to terrorize a small town community with rampages through restaurants and grocery stores and by the kidnapping of cats, pet rabbits, and baby goats from the organic farms. Investigators believe that some domestic big dogs may have become the first line in the coyote defense alert systems, and they bark mayday warnings on the approach of police and animal control officers. The coyote behaviors that domestic big dogs are adopting include the unabashed copulation with multiple partners, staying in the shadows when they are shifting directions, howling, and their refusal to obey any human command. We will take no questions at this time. Thank you. That is all.